Hey everyone! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Hermione and I make videos about eco-conscious living, vlogs, and DIYs. Today I'm going to be talking about recycling. Now, when recycling was first a thing and it was pretty new, like the whole curbside recycling at home thing, everyone was like, wow, this is totally the solution to all our problems, we can keep going with our consumerism habits and all we have to do is recycle it, and that is definitely going to solve things. As you can tell from the tone of my voice, recycling is definitely not the solution. In fact, around 64 or 65% of all things put into the recycling bin get thrown out, like put in the landfill. So in reality, only about 40% of what you put into the recycling bin is actually recycled. And why is this? Well, it's because of something called contaminants. It's basically wish cycling, which means you put things into the recycling bin that can't be recycled, and because of that, the entire batch of things is contaminated, which means it's gonna be thrown in the landfill, even if 90% of that batch can still be recycled. Now, what does this tell us? Well, it tells us that we, as consumers, need to stop putting all these non-recyclable things in the recycling bin thinking that it can be recycled. And also, we really need a better recycling system. But since right now, today, in your home, the easiest thing to do is to improve your consumer habits, I am going to be telling you about 5 things that cannot be recycled, which means you are not going to be putting these things in your recycling bin that would make the entire batch not recyclable. Number 1, pizza boxes. Well, at least the bottom part. This is pretty surprising, and I actually dug this pizza box out of my family's recycling because it is not a very well-known fact that pizza boxes cannot be recycled. Now, as you can see, it is obviously made of cardboard, but the inside is all greasy. Now, when you put this into the recycling, machines at the recycling center are gonna have to sort it out. It's gonna have to be pulped and melted down and whatever they do to make it into a new material. But if there is grease inside, that grease cannot be separated out, and grease cannot be in new paper that's being made out of old paper. So this is sadly not recyclable. But if this top part, you see this part, is very clean, there's nothing on it, except for this part because there's still some spots of grease here, but if you were to recycle this part that is clean cardboard with no grease on it, that is okay. But this part you cannot recycle, so I would suggest composting it. Since it looks like we're starting with paper products, number 2 is paper towels and paper napkins. Now, you probably might know this, but I see kids at school throwing away paper towels in the recycling bin, which kind of makes me mad, so I'd just like to clarify this. Paper towels cannot be recycled because every time you recycle them, their quality is downgraded, much like plastic, and that is not good. And also, used paper towels, like I said before, with the greasy pizza box, can have things that would contaminate the entire batch. You don't want any leftover residue on the paper towels. Those cannot be recycled. There's a lot of complications with paper towels and paper napkins, so they cannot be recycled. Number 3, frozen meal boxes. So as you can see from this picture here, I don't actually have a representation in real life of that, but this looks like it's made out of paper, made out of cardboard, right? But there's actually a secret plastic lining inside that makes it freezer friendly and stuff like that, so it cannot be recycled. The same rule applies to Starbucks hot cups, which are also plastic paper laminates, so these sadly cannot be recycled. Number 4, crushed aluminum cans. Now, if you didn't know this, aluminum is infinitely recyclable, and that's what's so great about it. It is one of the most eco-friendly materials, in my opinion. But the problem is crushed aluminum cans cannot be recycled because they could end up being missed by the recycling sorter, and then it would go into landfill, which is not great. So if you do drink seltzer or soda or something like that, please make sure that you do not crush the cans when you put them into recycling. By the way, you can also recycle little scraps of aluminum foil by squishing them all into a ball bigger than 2 inches or so in diameter, and you can put them inside an empty aluminum can and put that into the recycling, so they will both have a higher chance of being recycled. And that whole size thing leads us into the fifth and final thing that cannot be recycled. Anything smaller than a Post-it note. Now this is actually pretty surprising, and that's probably what you clicked on the video for, because I did make the thumbnail me holding this up saying this is not recyclable. And it is true, while this is made of paper, it cannot be recycled because it is way too small. This is gonna get blown around and the recycling sorters will miss it, and it's just gonna end up in landfill. The same goes for shredded paper. You know, if you have important documents that you need to shred, those little paper shreds cannot be recycled. So if you do that, please compost the little scraps of paper that you have. Thanks for watching! Like if you like this video. Subscribe if you want notifications about new videos. I usually post one every Saturday, so please be on the lookout for that. And remember to comment down below if you have any recycling tips or tricks that you'd like to share. Have a nice day! Bye!